The Detroit Lions get exposed on national TV, and some of you guys may not want to hear this video. Some of you guys may enjoy this video, but the truth is the truth, and you got to tell the truth. So help me God. I love what the Lions have been doing this season, the way that they've been playing, the way that they started, but it's not the way you start. It's always how you finish. The Detroit Lions have the Saints coming up. They got the Broncos they still got to play. Still got to go to Chicago and play. And still got 2 games against the Minnesota Vikings. And pretty much you got exposed by a team that you already beat earlier this season. Now, it always is said any given Sunday you can lose a football game, and that's true. Now you really understand that it doesn't matter what your record is. You can be 10-0. You can be 11-1. You could be, 12-2 or whatever your record is. Really doesn't matter. You could be one of the best teams in the NFL and on your way to the playoffs. But it can be a team that comes in and be a spoiler to you. And the Packers pretty much exposed us. And what do I mean by the Lions getting exposed? Well, if you look at it from the play calling of Ben Johnson, the stuff that he was calling wasn't good. No adjustments really being made in the game. And we've been talking about this for a long time, is that the Detroit Lions do not have a pass rush. And if the Lions are to make the playoffs, man, this thing is going to expose you. Even if the Lions do win the NFC title, when you get to the playoffs, you could be one and done. Even if you're playing in Detroit, you could be one and done because you cannot get to the quarterback. Truth be told, man, this team, Brad Holmes, had an opportunity to get some help, and he kind of failed us on that area. Now, am I dogging Brad Holmes and saying that Brad Holmes haven't done a good job with some of these guys? No, I'm not saying that. Some of the players he has hit on, and some of them he hasn't. And we've been talking about this for a minute, that Hutch needs some help. So his help was going out and getting a 36-year-old Bruce Irvin. Now, yeah, he's a proven commodity, but man, you had an opportunity to bring a Chase Young. Who cares at this point, man? Who cares about the draft capital if you can't get the players that you need in here to help this defense get better? This defense got exposed yesterday. They can't get to the quarterback. Hutch now can't even get to the quarterback. And it just doesn't make any sense, man. You're watching these guys on national TV, and these guys lay an egg, man. It doesn't make any sense. You're down 20-6? And you're fighting and clawing back to try to get in the game, the whole entire game. And the reason why I say that the Lions got exposed, because now it's out there that if you rattle the cage of Jared Goff, then this thing is going to implode. And Jared Goff wasn't playing well yesterday. We got to keep it a buck. Jared Goff did not play well yesterday. He had some turnovers in the game, and for the last few games, Jared Goff has just not looked good. We gotta keep it a buck. Now, he's been playing good all season long, but for the last few games, Jared Goff has not looked good. And I know that he's in a contract season where he's trying to get an extension, and maybe the Lions are still going to give him an extension, even though he's going through some rough patches and some rough days right now. But at the same time, when you look at it on national TV and through the eyes of everybody else, we look like frauds. We don't look like a contender, because the contender is going to go out there and prove that they belong. And we're not proving right now that we belong. We're not proving that we belong with the big dogs up there, even though the record indicates a little bit different. We got exposed on national TV, and it just doesn't look good. You can't even get to the quarterback to be able to smell the quarterback's funky, nasty breath. You cannot. This does not make any sense, man, to me whatsoever. You don't have a pass rush. None of these guys, not even Hutch right now, can get to the quarterback. All these guys that you got is just a bunch of guys on the roster, which you knew that you needed to address it. But you know, and this is no shot at Jahmyr Gibbs or anything like that, because this has nothing to do with Jahmyr Gibbs. But you had an opportunity to get something defensively here that would have helped this front seven. See, when you don't have a front seven, it exposed the back end, and you see yesterday how we got exposed. You see how Jerry Jacobs could not cover Christian Watson. You saw that, right? How Jerry Jacobs was getting exposed. The defense, even Cam Sutton didn't. Nobody looked good in the secondary. And then you got Kirby Joseph on the sidelines arguing with teammates and stuff going on the sidelines. It's just crazy, man, what you're seeing right now out of Detroit Lions, because you could drop the next few games, man. If you don't come to play, and you know New Orleans is going to be ready to play you. New Orleans right now is 5-5. They're leading their division. Their record is not that good. But whoever has the divisional lead still makes it to the playoffs, no matter what their record is. They can have a sorry record and still make it into the playoffs because they lead the division. And now you got to go to the Saints, where we have a hard time with the Saints. Every time we play the Saints, it's a hard fought game, and normally the Saints beat us, especially in New Orleans. They normally beat us. But we got exposed, man. We got exposed on national TV, and it stinks. You know, some people are saying that AG should be fired. Some people are saying the defense is not looking up to par, and which is not. I mean, it's a lot going on right now, man. When you start losing and reality starts hitting you again, you understand, man, that right now this team is still far away from what we really see in our eyes. You know, the record is good, which is a great thing. But when you get in the playoffs, man, you're going to end up getting tossed right out of the playoffs in the first round, man. You're going to end up getting eliminated in the first round. And it could be an elimination game right at your home. If the Lions get a playoff game at home, if they even make it to the playoffs, you can be tossed out in the first round because the defense is not going to show up. This defense is straight booty cheeks. This defense is straight booty cheeks. We got no pass rush, man. You got no pass rush in Detroit. You can't get to the quarterback in Detroit. We can't even sack. And even if we get pressure, we can't even finish the play. We can't even get a sack on the quarterback, man. Hutch can't get to the quarterback right now. Hutch can't even get to the quarterback. None of the other guys on the team, Aleem McNeil, Isaiah Buggs, John Kaminsky, Josh Pascal, the Akora brothers, Charles Harris, none of these dudes can get to the quarterback to even be able to smell the quarterback's funky, nasty, stinky breath. We made Jordan Love look like an elite Pro Bowl quarterback. Because Jordan Love, let's face it, he's been struggling a little bit. He's been struggling. Jared Goff has been playing some decent football, man. And for the last few games, Jared Goff cage has been rattled a little bit because he's starting to get more turnovers. You know, is this going to happen? Yes, it's a long season in the NFL. It's long. It's brutal and it's long. Are you going to have a few games that you don't play well? Of course. I understand it because I understand the game of football. Like some people would say, you don't know football. I understand the game of football. I understand how it's played, how it's won. Understand that you got to have a pass rush. Understand you got to have a run game. Understand that you got to have a quarterback that can even manage the game or either, you know, be that dude. I understand that you need your weapons, you know, as receivers. I understand that if you don't have a big front seven going in and creating havoc and causing havoc week in and week out, that you're going to get exposed. And that's what happened on national TV for everybody to see on Thanksgiving, and for you to lose your 7th straight Thanksgiving game. It just don't make any sense, man. Ben Johnson got to get a little bit better with the play calling. Definitely. You know, he called some stuff yesterday that I thought was kind of a little iffy. Jared Goff, they was getting, let's face it, man. The Green Bay Packers was rattling his cage all day long. Rashawn Gary, who came from Michigan, sacked Jared Goff, 3 times yesterday? And we couldn't even get 1 sack. This man, let alone sacks Jared Goff 3 times in a game. And they kept getting to Jared Goff. He didn't have a great game, man, because if you get to Jared Goff, now the blueprint is out there. If you get to Jared Goff, this team is going to definitely lose the football game. If Jared Goff is not out there playing well, and he's getting turnovers and he's making mistakes, and you're putting pressure on him, he's not going to make a lot of right decisions out there. I mean, it is what it is, man. You got to call a spade a spade. Jared Goff did not look good. The Detroit Lions could not run, and then you're running the football when you need to be passing. You're trying to run the football, and all you're doing is running the football. Is you're running the clock out when you need to try to come and catch up to these guys, and then at the end of the game, you're fighting to try to get, you're trying to fight to get closer to possibly winning the game, and you end up winning at the end of the day. You end up losing at the end of the day, 22-29. But the whole game you were fighting, trying to get into the game, and you were not calling the right plays that should have been called. The Lions lay an egg big time in front of everybody. A lot of people are saying how dangerous this team is. A lot of people are, making videos on Detroit Lions and things of that nature. But at the end of the day, the Lions still are hurting themselves. More so than anybody else defeating the Lions, it's the Lions causing their own headaches and their own problems. Brad Holmes has to deal with being able to know that he could have got us some help at the trade deadline. Going out there and I don't care if you got to give up. We got 3 third-round picks, man. We could have gave up one of those guys. I understand they don't want to spend any money. That's what it is. I understand you want to manage the books well, and you don't really want to spend any money. You want to be cheap and go get dollar store type guys and stuff like that. I understand that. Instead of going to Walmart, you rather shop at the dollar store. I understand that. But now you know that it's going to affect you throughout the remainder of the season, because you decided not to go get help and go get a pass rusher to help Hutch. Now the Lions they're gonna get exposed, man, and they're still not gonna be able to get to the quarterback, man. So a sad day on Turkey Day, man. But if you're a Detroit Lion fan, man, if you don't find a way to get more victories, man, it's going to look nasty for the remainder of the season. So hopefully they can start winning more football games.